What's up everyone, this is Rich Montalvo with another video in the Feast of Ages series. This time around I wanted to go into a little more detail about the story itself. Not beat for beat exactly what's going on with the plot and everything like that, but kind of the basic bones and structure of what's there to kind of give you a reason to stick around for what the story fully will be in the end. This is kind of what the shape of the overall story will be. This is my core pitch. This is a cooking LitRPG, check. It includes 4 online friends who have never met before, meeting together for the first time at a convention for an MMO they've been playing. So this is something they're aware of. They have a long history with MMO. They're a pretty good guild together already, kind of know how to work together. This is not just another gamers trapped in a game. These are kind of almost strangers that are also friends. So I kind of want to get that awkward feeling. I don't know if any of y'all have had that yourselves at a convention where you've talked to these people before. You know who they are. You maybe even have seen pictures of them, but when you meet them in person, it's awkward as all hell. But then someone might crack a joke you remember, something inside, and you all get back to normal. That's something I want to try to capture. I want the awkwardness along with that kind of that gelling that always tends to happen when the core group finally figures out. As well with the convention itself, I said it specifically there originally with that the conscript that was more of a comedy because I had been to a convention, Penny Arcade back in the day, that was really kind of off the wall. A bunch of different people from different different avenues of life that I had never experienced prior to that. And that's when I had met furries, and this was like real life where like you hear about different, I don't want to say fetishes, different cultures around the internet, and you don't see it firsthand, and you don't really realize. And it's one of the reasons why I poked fun with it rather than making it, like I said, this time around, I want to be laughing with. I want this to be inclusive as opposed to pointing at. But nonetheless, it is you coming from your own world, whatever it was. For me, it was New York City, and New York City has its own kind of weirdness, but going into that world of just pure nerddom where everyone is accepted, where everything is accepted. I remember doing the Try Drunkard Wizard tournament where a bunch of geeks were wearing wizard clothing and going from pub to pub doing different games for us. Like, it was just fun. Anyways, that's the type of feeling I wanted to capture in that script, and I'm going to hopefully bring to at least the beginning of this story, that kind of convention feel. And that's where we kind of start the story at. I wanted to ground also the game that they're going to enter into something that they already knew, just brought into a way more. Just think about, like I said earlier in the last video, this is the 90s. So any kind of realism that they see, it's not like us where realism that is quote unquote 2D or 3D on a screen is suddenly we're in it. This is going to be kind of amazing pixelated videos suddenly turned into absolutely realistic thing once they're kind of transported into the gaming world. But that serves as the beginning of our story, where we're kind of meeting our folks. At the convention itself, there is going to be unveiled a new version of the MMO called Evervoid, which is the MMO Unbound, which is kind of this new version. There will be some intrigue involving that release, whether it is actually a real release, whether there is some nefarious things that they're trying to do with this release. But our team infiltrates the convention, just trying to see some more information about the MMO, not realizing that this new version is being released, kind of being wowed by it, somehow partaking in this experimental version without anyone realizing it. And this is where they enter the Evervoid Unbound version of the world. it's during this kind of scan-in process, whatever it is, that everyone kind of gets their classes. I feel I'd love it to kind of focus on real world abilities. So I will try to fit each character with traits personality wise that fit whatever their end game classes will be. I can give you maybe the layouts of the 4 friends, but I don't really want to go into detail. I will have a further video that will focus a little more on their specifics, but we will have our main character, which will be the gentleman that you follow from his kind of home life into the convention. So that'll be one transition, and then once again another transition of the real world into Evervoid. So I want to see kind of those impacts. You will see that firsthand on him. I want him to start off kind of, as a lot of protagonists do, unsure of himself, kind of knowing that he has ability specifically in cooking, but not exploring it enough, not giving himself enough credit to actually explore it fully. I think a lot of us have abilities that are nascent, that are just part of who we are at our core, but sometimes we shun them, whether it is artistically, whether it is athletically. These things that bring us joy maybe when we're younger sometimes get pushed to the wayside as we get older. For me, cooking has always been a part of my life, and it's one of the reasons why it will be the focus of this. Is I love cooking. It's something we all have to do every single day, and if you can get joy out of that process, all the better, because it's something you have to do. So you're literally pulling joy out of something that will be routine. To me, that just sings. I also love the challenge of a good recipe, and that's kind of what I want to hopefully capture within the game. The story itself is that challenge of seeing a recipe that seems absolutely unattainable. It seems like it has too many steps, too many complicated ingredients you've never seen before, but still trying to make that attempt and maybe failing slightly, but getting close to it enough that you feel like you dinged, like that little XP has gone up a little bit more. So I want to capture that progression of cooking ability. But anyways, that's our main character. His name's good. He's for sure, his name will be Dev. He's the only one who has a for sure name. Everyone else is just placeholders, because this is 2 different stories being melded. So everyone almost has 2 different versions of their names, or 2 different personalities that I will be kind of melding. There was originally a love interest. I had written her as a tomboy. This version, he may be trans, I'm not sure. And I want to make sure that I am doing justice, so I'm not sure if I should be writing a character that is not something I know firsthand, but it just, I don't know, it spoke to me as I was kind of rethinking this. It popped, when something pops into my head that way, it feels like it's guided, and it suddenly becomes that character. So it might be that he's trans, whether I like it or not. I think he might like it, and that's the reason why I almost want to write it. I don't know if he'll still be a love interest, but I love the idea. And not to go into too much of a detail, but heated rivalry is what I kind of picture their dynamic as. I want the strong male to be him, the trans character, where Dev will be the Shane character, the shyer, not sure of himself type thing. So I don't know. Like, once again, this is me throwing out ideas to a safe space, hopefully. But like I said, this is just the beginning, so I have not fully thought out these characters in that other video, I will hopefully have a more solidified kind of view. I will be talking to them on the sidelines. I feel it's very important for you to have them talk to you and figure out what they are, because you never know what will come about when you are kind of untethered by what you are forcing on your characters, and just let creativity kind of figure its way through, and guided creativity almost, where you're specifically almost asking questions and maybe having a dialogue with your character to figure out what its intentions are or could be within your story. That is that character. They don't have a name because I don't want to. I just said they're in transition, but figuratively and possibly literally, they are in transition in this case of figuring out what their future will be. The name might be Terry, because that was the protagonist's name originally in the other story, but I feel that is a kind of intergender name that someone might take on themselves. But like I said, I have to have that conversation, and Terry might decide on themselves on maybe that's their dead name, and they have a new name that better speaks to who they are as a character. Or they might be a different character at the end of this that is not trans. Who knows? I am trusting the process with this. But that is them. And next we have, I want a stronger, older gentleman to kind of not exactly be guiding the group, but kind of be guiding the group. He is a ex-military kind of veteran, but younger. I'd say maybe 30s, but super old compared to the rest of them. I figure the rest are, I wouldn't say late teens, but they are late teen feeling and early 20s, I would say. I want them to all feel young, where this guy is kind of that grizzled dude who has been through a lot of different experiences, that has those suggestions in the heat of the moment that guide everyone through. I will most likely write him as a Muslim American, in all likelihood. Originally, he was a African American guy. These are a lot of my friends, kind of. I don't want to put like a specific type on them, but almost like a bro-y type. The kind of very loyal, very boisterous, very gung-ho, very machismo, but teddy bears at heart. Those types of dudes that are ready to go to war for you no matter what it comes, but also give you a shoulder to just be yourself as you need to unload whatever it is that's going on with you. That duality, I feel a lot of times guys kind of hide it, that they are more loving and accepting than they kind of portray to the outside world. I want to make sure that I believe his name is Mo. Well, I still have to have a conversation with him. Mo, short for Muhammad, or Maurice, depending. That was the original version was Maurice. I have to have a conversation with him to figure out exactly what he is overall. Lastly, the four, this was originally a guy. If I do have a trans male, I would like to have a female within the story as well. So originally his name was Sean. So her name might still be Sean, might be something else. Well, we'll have that conversation. This was the shy type kind of guy. He was originally gay in the script. He most likely will not. I don't need another kind of, if I'm going to have a trans character, I don't need another kind of culture that I will be researching and kind of hoping to portray correctly. I don't want to challenge myself in that way. But if he says he's gay, he's going to be gay, point blank. I guess I should speak on why I don't say feel the need, but feel the want to have folks of different cultures in my story, having a Muslim gentleman, a trans gentleman, um, and possibly a gay character as well, is I love diversity. Being of Puerto Rican descent myself, I have navigated in between lots of different races, all thinking I was quote unquote of their own, accepting me in one way or another, and then sometimes shunning me once realizing who I actually was. That kind of feeling of belonging everywhere, but also not belonging sometimes, it was weird. And what my goal has always been since then is seeing people for who they are and seeing new folks for who they are. And this is since my convention, so please do not hold those times against me, that like kind of script that, like I said, pointed fun at those new folks. I love like that ability to see someone for who they are and their eyes lighting up for that mere fact. That is just, I love it. Like something that it might sound cheesy, but I use as a story just showing how much representation matters is watching The Force Awakens with my niece. She was probably about 3-4 years old. Her pointing up at the screen and saying, I could be that. On the screen was Rey in all her glory. And I said, what? She said, can I be that? I said, her, yeah, if you want, you can be a Jedi, you can be. She said, no, the hair. I was like, yeah, the hair. But, and then her eyes lit up when I said Jedi, though. She said, I can be that, though. So yeah, you can be anything you want. And that just conversation of seeing something you can be that you didn't think you would be able to in front of you just matters so much. It's something I try to pull at, not to get into too much information of my personal life, but I work in the vet industry. And as a kid, I don't remember that ever being offered in the inner city to kids like me as being even a possibility. Yes, doctors, but not an animal doctor. No, that's not. I feel like being able to see people, especially people of color or people that look like you within an industry or within a whatever it is, suddenly it broadens your horizons to suddenly realize you can be something else. I'm completely probably going off on a tangent, but it's the reason why I want to learn cultures that are not of my own, to learn what it is, like what someone goes through when they have to do Ramadan, that fasting, what it does to your body, that stress throughout your day, the way you start your day with your water, like that to me, it's something to savor, because the differences just add flavor to our relationship, to that interaction you're having with the person. You suddenly have a new touch point to them, to finding out who they are as a person. I don't know. Once again, that is me rambling. Let's try to pull this train back onto its tracks. So we have now gone through the four kind of friends, who they are. That is our core group. This is the very basics. Their classes, I am not sure. Like I said, Sean was the last person. He's super basic, but he's that shy type. He will be kind of the strategy focused type person. At this point, we can move on to Ever Void itself. Kind of the structure of how I feel the world will be. It will be as realistic as possible. They will feel that they're in the real world. Right now, I am not sure how much I will mirror the original version of the MMO's kind of map and everything. I might just use kind of some basic placeholder that might hint to them that they know their way around, but I still want exploration there. So I'm playing with the idea that this is either their world and a little kind of heightened. So their Ever Void that they play through on their screens being maybe off kilter a little bit, maybe some kind of corruption happening in the world. Once again, this is something that I am working on to build out on exactly what that will be. We are working through this together, pretty much live, but I don't think that overall world will be explored within this story. I want to bring back, originally my story is a little more grander in scale. I felt the need to kind of pull that back into a more focused thing. I want this to be as focused on cooking as possible rather than dragons and big magic and all that. I want any of the magic to be held within a pan's width, in a way. Let's get down to the basics of what their goals will be in this world. It's basically survival. They want to get out. That is all their goal will be. They will eventually kind of be focused within the world and have maybe goals that spring up as they're there. But I want them to, their main goal is to escape. They don't want to be here any longer than they have to. Being there, I want them to focus on getting their classes built up. I think the gamer in all of us would love to see a new game system that they get to explore. So as much as they want to leave, I see them kind of completely drowning in their stats and everything like that. I am not sure how much I want to focus on numbers when it comes to stats and things like that. I think abilities are way more important. So knowing that you have something that allows you to sidestep 5 feet and do a quick attack is way more important than knowing that your attack got buffed by 3% when you hit a level or something like that. So know that will be kind of at the core of their abilities. So I don't want them staring off on a screen in the middle of this. I think that moves towards kind of their UI is, I want their UI to be able to, for them to just, it's almost like a chat UI where it's just telling you, you now have the ability to do blank and have the abilities description, and that be it. So we'll see how this kind of format develops as I am building out the story. But when it comes to those classes and those levels, let's focus on Dev and why he has a cook class. Normally in a MMO, a cook is, or a cooking class is kind of a profession more than anything. What I feel will happen is during the scanning process at the convention where Evervoid Unbound is happening, Dev will accidentally, whether it's him saying, now we're cooking, that's a thing that stuck in my head, but the system scanning that in and it almost reconciling it against his abilities that it finds and saying, oh yes, that is an acceptable class. You have now accepted cooking class 1, whatever it is. That idea of him accidentally becoming exactly what he needed to be. I want that cooking class within the world to be offensive as well as almost like a scholarly class. So you are gathering almost a recipe book that maybe becomes more enhanced, or your cooking becomes more enhanced as you level up, so that you can infuse your cooking with different kind of buffs and things like that will help folks out. When it comes to his offense, I believe I will focus on using the same thing I had in my original story, which was his pan, which was a runic pan that was given to him when the game first started. I believe that will be integrated into the story, that now the pen will have a backstory that will be part of the key overall quest or overall plot or storyline. But that's more down the line. I feel that's a little mystery to kind of, for them to unravel. It did come to me, so it is a fully kind of thought out thing, but it's not something I wish to unveil quite yet to all of you. But anyways, that is Dev. with his cooking class, I want it to still have a leveling up system, still it have abilities that may be used in combat, but mostly be used while he's cooking on the side. And I want that cooking to be the central part of the overall story. I think food will be the core to their survival, possibly even them getting out. There's a reason why the story will be called Feast of Ages. The reason why I feel food is important, it's part of our culture, it's part of our memories, it's how memories kind of get passed down. I remember cooking with my grandmother for hours on end as a kid. It's something I still talk about to my wife when we're talking about like how or why I do specific ways I do kneading dough or things like that, because I remember her hands, her old hands guiding mine as I tried to knead out dough not to her liking, and she argued with me in Spanish, and most of the time I didn't understand, but I tried my best to mimic what she was doing. But those memories are passed down. I feel that meals can build trust between people. Recipes can carry like full cultures' histories within them as you see them develop. I think ingredients from different parts of the world can completely change your kind of way of thinking of cooking and things like that. And that's the reason why it's at the center of my story overall. But y'all, that's kind of the core of the story. I know I haven't gone too much into detail when it comes to the actual plot, but this is the basics of where we will be going within the Feast of Ages. I hope y'all will stay tuned for all of it, but this has been Rich Montalvo, and thanks for watching another installment of the Feast of Ages. Y'all take care.